Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Dr. Hasi, and today's topic is reviewing plant morphology and module number 4, which is the last module for exam 4. So we have only 3 chapters in this module. Chapter chapter 8, plant genetics, chapter 27, plant hormones, chapter 29, plant nutrition and soils. So let's get started. Okay, so we start with plant nutrition. Now, plant nutrition, very, very important because plant nutrition also related to human nutrition, animal nutrition, and human nutrition. So what you always do some deep reading for mastery learning, hyper focus on chapter from your biology of plants from your textbook. So don't forget to read your textbook. Now, um, so a few key points about plant nutrition. Okay, so we have 17 mineral elements. They are inorganic and they have to be taken from outside. Half 9 of them are actually macro large group like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, sulfur, and hydrogen, oxygen, and um, 9 total, right? So these 6 of these 9 especially important because actually they 3 of these 9 actually, especially nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium are the 3 biggest ones, and we see most of the deficiencies that in these 3. So um, you need to know there is a table in your book, which is here also, lists all 17. The other 8 are macronutrients, micronutrients, which are needed smaller amounts like zinc, iron, boron, manganese, copper, nickel, molybdenum. So you need to pay attention, like what's their function, which is listed here, and what's their deficiency symptoms. So one thing about plants, some of these elements are obviously chemical elements that they are very mobile, and that means they can move all the way to the top, and that means they show deficiency in the lower part. Calcium, boron, iron are like that. Always remember, they show deficiency at the top. Other ones, like other 7, 8, 9 of them, they are not very mobile. So, and and then you need to pay attention mobile versus non-mobile. So which one shows top? Iron, boron, calcium. Which one shows at the lower parts? Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, zinc, manganese. So rest of them basically. So iron, boron, calcium, always look for at the top of the plant for their deficiencies. Um, there are some questions here also from your book and from your lecture notes. So um, how can we tell which deficiency is actually plant having? So each deficiency is unique to that specific element. They are also listed in your book and here also in your notes. So pay attention, macro and micronutrient deficiency types. So there are also soils, very important that soil has different levels and zones. And the loam soils, LOAM, are the most fertile soils that consider. Sandy soils, like we see in Florida, they are maybe less fertile. And there are clay soils and peat soils and other types. Okay, so soil horizons are at the top is O, which is organic matter, and then A, B, C horizons, and then at the very bottom is the R, which is the solid rocks. Okay, so um, keep reading and pay attention to the pH of the soil. pH might actually hold and not allow a specific element become available, and like especially low pH like acidic soils. Good example is phosphorus. Okay, but some plants like acidic soils, like blackberries, hydrangea, azaleas. So there are some plants they like acidic soils. So that's chapter 29. Chapter 27 is there is also a summary here from your book about specific plant hormones. So plant hormones, if you remember animal hormones, you can actually see a lot of similarities between plant and animal hormones. not their names, but they also stimuli or inhibit. They are chemical messengers, not electrical, but chemical. And there are 8 uh, big plant hormones, starting with auxin, cytokinins, top 2, gibberellins, abscisic acid, ethylene, and then salicylic acid, brasinoids, and jasmonoids. So there is a nice table here, table 27-1, which lists the major plant hormones, their chemical nature, their site of biosynthesis, their transporter target cell, and then what they affect, the major effect they make. Okay, so um, auxins are #1 plant hormones. They were discovered first before any other ones. They promote cell enlargement. Cytokinins promote cell division, easy to tell because cytokinins. Gibberellins promotes internode elongation and also germination, which that means breaks dormancy. ABA inhibits stuff like cause dormancy or close stomata. Ethylene inhibits senescence, but also increase fruit ripening, and also can inhibit cell elongation. Salicylic acid, we know from the defense, like aspirin has salicylic acid. So you can read more about each of these and their locations, right? Of auxins at the top, they are synthesized and they go to the roots, but cytokinins always synthesize in the roots and they go top. So pay attention to these locations, location. Okay, so that's chapter 27. And chapter 8 is basic Mendelian genetics. So anything you know from Bio 1 or genetics you might have taken applies here just for plant genetics. Remember, genetics started with the plants because Gregor Mendel, he was a plant biologist, and then he started the very first experiments and then published his data. And there is a summary of some of his findings here. If something is genetic, it could be dominant. It could be dominant or recessive alleles. Could be one gene, monohybrid, 2 genes, dihybrid, or polygenes, which is several genes involved. It could be homozygous, like same letters, or heterozygous, 2 different letters. Again, recessive or dominant. Dominant also can be incomplete dominance, uh, like we see in snapdragons, codominance, like we see in blood types, like AB or AB blood types. And a polygenic is like multi-gene complex, like height of the plant, seed mass, high carotenoid content. But diabetes in human, right? So these are some examples. Um, Genetics is a combination of heredity and variation. In plants, variation very important. Um, and DNA, chromosomes, and genes, they are all linked to each other. Genome is the book, chromosomes is their chapters, genes are your sentences, nucleotides are your letters there in each sentence. So phenotype, and always remember phenotype equals genotype time environment. This formula, genotype is the genetics part here. This is chapter 8, environment, big in plants, but we've seen it in every other chapter. So temperature, water, nutrients, diseases, these are all related to the environment. Okay, so and pay attention to how to do some basic simple crosses and look to get F1, F2, other ratios, and then to find out what kind of genetics going on in that specific plant situation. So as always, read the book. So don't forget our book, right? So our book is Biology of Plants, right? So 8th edition. By now you should have this book and you should read chapters 8, 27, and 29 from this book. Do some deep reading, hyper focus on these 3 chapters, and study actively, synthesize some key concepts, and study examples, evidence, and connections between them. So thanks for watching, and feel free to comment and like. So happy studying. See you in the next video. Best of success in the finals.